Let's transition our way to hands and knees tabletop. Setting our base position, getting those fingers splayed out nice and wide, thinking about the neutrality in the spine, and bringing a little bit of core engagement so that we can hold that neutrality as we exhale and send the left leg straight back. Good quad flex there. Really think about the balanced weight distribution between the left and right hand and keeping that kind of medial line alignment, even with the leg straight back. And then let's just utilize another exhale and we'll bring the left knee to the left elbow. So just a little exhale there, good strong hold. And then drop that knee down back into your tabletop, curl your toes and roll your seat back into down dog. Think about how the core engagement here can allow for lumbar expansion. So just in the same way we can expand the lumbar in child's pose or engage the lumbar in tabletop, we can use core engagement here to create length. And then we'll come down to hands and knees tabletop. And just recheck in with hand alignment, the hand engagement. And then with an exhale, that send our right leg straight back. Toes are pointed straight down, quads flexed. We're keeping that weight distribution between both hands. And we're staying with that medial line alignment so that we're really strong and rooted in the shape. Next time you exhale, let's bring the right knee to the right elbow so you get that little bit of core contraction. And then right knee comes down, curl your toes, and once again, roll back into down dog. You kind of use that sensation of compaction where we bring the knee to the elbow to help feel how the core should be engaged to create the maximum amount of depth here. And then think about where your weight is in your hands. Pretty easy to roll all the strength into the pinky edge, that lateral edge. Make sure the medial engagement on that index finger is equally active. And let's walk our way forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Drop your head into the fold. Think about letting go. Maybe you let the arms go so that that subscapular musculature can get some release. And then let's shift our awareness to our sacrum and we'll roll ourselves up into a nice mountain. Craft that stability of mountain here. Splay the toes out wide. Think about being rooted. And we'll inhale our hands together at heart center. The same way we kind of paid attention to the pinky and index finger edge, think about the thumb or the big toe and pinky edge of your feet, and think about balancing that weight distribution. And then let's just slide our left foot straight back into lunge. So that we get this neutral anterior posterior alignment, we'll sweep the arms up into crescent. As you lift the arms, think about smoothing into that front hip without bowing the belly forward, staying neutral, staying kind of core engaged, locked down in that midsection. And then drop your hands and we'll return to mountain. And we just check in with our weight distribution, think about the equilibrium of the shape. And let's slide that right foot straight back. Set your torso first and then sweep the arms. As the arms reach, then we smooth into that front leg. We stay locked down in the core so that we're foundationally rooted here. And then we'll drop the hands, return to mountain, think about that equilibrium of the shape, sweep the arms up and overhead. And exhale through fold. Let the head fall, let the spine elongate, the shoulders release. Inhale into half lift. Another opportunity for spinal elongation. And then back into fold. We'll plant our hands and walk our way back into down dog. We'll drop the hands and knees tabletop, flip the tops of the feet, sink back into child's pose. There's this old woman with her son by her side. Her time is getting very short. Because of that, she's offering up some of her possessions. Her son, who's always been there for her, who's always taken care of her, and who's expected nothing from her, is surprised when she hands him this beautiful pocket watch, this solid gold pocket watch with exposed gears that are intricate and mesmerizing as they move. With the next inhale, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. And as you get to tabletop, set the lumbar neutrality, set the core engagement, and exhale and send your left leg straight back. Want to find that balance? We are going to inhale and drop the toes so that they can just tiptoe, just kind of bounce off of the mat, and then exhale, come back up to that hip height. So inhale and we just barely tap, and then exhale, get to height. And let's just do that a couple more times. Think about your core engagement here. The next time that the leg comes up to hip height, use a following exhale to bring the knee to the elbow. And then drop the knee to tabletop. Set your position, curl your toes, and lift your seat to down dog. Once again, a little core awareness here so we can use that core engagement, that sensation that we've created to get some depth. Depth in down dog should translate to spinal column expansion, to decompression. And then we'll come back down to hands and knees. Set our core for tabletop, that neutral spinal alignment. Exhale and send the right leg back. Inhale, the toes just touch, and then exhale back up to hip height. Maybe one more time. The next time that you exhale, the right knee comes to the right elbow. We get that little contraction awareness, drop the knee, curl your toes, and roll back into down dog. Really think about the depth available to you here. Think about how and where you engage the core. You can change the depth of your shapes. And then let's walk our way forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum, and we'll roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice and slow as we work through that flexion. We'll bring our hands back together at heart center. Create that stable equilibrium. Now lock in the core so that you feel that engagement in the middle of the body, and with that core locked in, lift your left leg so that we kind of recreate the sensation of tabletop, right? We've been in this shape, we just don't have our arms forward right now. And then drop your left leg back to the mat. We just want to feel those shapes. We pull the right knee up. We think about that core engagement. Just a little opportunity to balance, right? If you put the arms out, we've been in this exact same shape in tabletop. And then release. And think about creating that redistribution, our equilibrium. One more time, let's bring the left knee up to that little half Karate Kid. And then from this position, we're going to slide the left leg back into lunge and sweep the arms into crescent. And then we'll reverse that. We'll bring the hands to heart center. We'll step the left foot back into that elevated position if it's accessible to you. And then we'll drop the left foot down and rebalance the weight. Right knee comes into this balance. We slide that right foot back. We express crescent fully. We reverse, hands come back to heart center. We step into that little elevated position. We'll drop the right foot, slide the hands behind you, interlace the fingers at the sacrum if it's accessible to you. If that's not, you can just grab on to kind of that belt line or the side of the pants, whatever feels most accessible to your shoulders. And then inhale and take the chin up towards the ceiling or sky. As the chin points upward, you get that anterior throat expansion. Push the thumbs down and squeeze the scapula back so that there's this big full opening. And then release the head back to neutral, sweep the arms up and overhead, and exhale through forward fold. Drop into that fold, let your body completely release. Inhale into half lift. Get that long, expansive spine. And exhale your way back into fold. Plant the hands, we'll walk to down dog. From down dog, let's drop the hands and knees tabletop, flip the tops of the feet, and sink our way back into child's pose. For several years, anytime this man misses his mother, he'd pull out that pocket watch. And he'd watch the gears move, and it would remind him of her precision and her elegance and her beauty. And over the course of that time, he opened this little shop in town. The shop had been struggling to stay afloat. He had this young family. And one day there was just no way he was going to be able to pay for everything he needed to pay. And he looked at this beautiful pocket watch that his mother had given him, and he, somewhere within him, he knew what he needed to do. He needed to put that up for sale. So after quite a lot of deliberation, hard reality set in, and he did just that. Let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. And from hands and knees tabletop, take your left leg, exhale, extend it straight back. And then with the next exhale, we'll bring that knee to the left elbow. And then back down to the mat. Curl your toes, lift your seat, find down dog. Then the left leg straight back and behind you, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring that left knee to your left elbow. Just a little contraction at the core. And then exhale, send that left leg straight back and behind you. We'll step our left foot forward into lunge. Push back through the strength of that right leg. Make sure that the knee bend is removed, and then sweep yourself up into crescent. Take the arms out to cactus. Get that scapula expansion. And then think about keeping the shoulders wide as you exhale and bring the elbows and palms together. So you're still pushing those shoulders out wide. Inhale and sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, drop the hands to the mat. And step the left foot back into plank. Come down to hands and knees tabletop. Then the right leg straight back and behind you. Think about that balance, and then exhale, right knee to right elbow. Back to tabletop. Curl your toes, lift your seat, find down dog. Exhale and send that right leg straight back and behind you. And then use an exhale to bring the right knee to the right elbow. Straight back into three-legged dog. And step the right foot forward into lunge. Landing there, thinking about that strength in your left leg. Sweep the arms to crescent. Exhale the arms out to cactus. Think about that width across the shoulder girdle. Keep the shoulders wide as you exhale the elbows and the palms together. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. And exhale, hands to the mat. Step the right foot back into plank, and then lift the seat into down dog. Nice work. Get that depth into your tailbone. Let's walk our way forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Flat, neutral back. Hey, Sandy. Exhale back into fold. Take your right hand to your left elbow and your left hand to your right elbow and rock a little side to side. And as you're swaying here, think about how the spinal column is responding. Think about how you have the option or the opportunity to create space as you sway, as you move. And really utilize that to allow the head to get closer and closer to your mat or floor. Eventually, we'll bring the head back to neutral. And we'll roll our way up, vertebrae by vertebrae, through this flexion and into mountain. Bring our hands together at heart center. Breathing into this neutrality. Just pause for a minute here. Slow things down for a minute here. And then we'll step our left foot back into lunge. As the left foot lands, ground the left heel and let the left hand come back. So we're in half warrior two. Right hand's just going to fall straight down from the shoulder. And then turn your gaze towards the front of the room. Imagine that your right hand is extended straight out, right? But it just drops straight down. And then switch the placements. Left hand comes straight down behind you. Right hand straight out in front of you. Think about the medial alignment of that right thigh and the core engagement required to keep the torso at neutral. And then drop the right hand behind you and smooth into that right quad. So we just bring a little more depth. Think about the shoulder girdle staying in line with the right hip and then blossom back into warrior two. Nice work. Left heel spins up. We're in crescent. Drop the hands and step to mountain. Slow things down here and just feel into this balance. Then the right foot's going to step back into lunge. As you land, we develop the strength and we ground the right heel. Take that right hand back and turn your gaze towards the front of the room. The left arm goes straight down, right in front of that, right in that medial line. Think about the midpoint of that left thigh leading you. And then drop your right hand behind you and extend the left hand forward. Shoulder girdle stays squared up to the hips. And then the left hand comes behind you. It can interlace if that's accessible. And then you smooth into that left quad. Stay squared up in the shoulders. And then blossom into full two. Right heel spins up. We're into crescent. Drop the hands. We'll step back to mountain. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through forward fold. Feel the hip hinge here. All of that hip work. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. We'll walk to down dog. Try to find a little extra tailbone space here, like you're trying to wiggle the sacrum back. Come down to hands and knees, tabletop, flip the tops of the feet and sink back into child's pose. Now, this child's pose, we're entering into it with some pretty different hip awareness, right? We had a big hip sequence there. Try to really master the ability to get the full depth of child's pose. And so begrudgingly, this man puts this pocket watch up for sale. And almost immediately, like the next person that comes into the store sees it, they're mesmerized with it, they don't care about the huge price tag, they buy it on the spot. And it becomes very clear very quickly that while he had made the decision to sell this pocket watch, he was not prepared for it to go away, especially not that quickly. As this man leaves the store buying this pocket watch that was given to him by his mother, this pocket watch that had provided him comfort anytime he had missed her, he started to cry. And he had this little empty tip jar on the counter. And the tears started to fall into that tip jar. And they started to fill this tip jar. Maybe like 1/8 of an inch full. And he's just looking down at this jar that's just gathering these tears. And he realizes that these tears are in some way representative of the relationship that he had with his mother. They came from that pocket watch. And so he decides he wants to keep them. He puts a lid on the jar. He takes the jar up to his attic where he has a freezer. And he puts the jar inside. When you're ready, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. From hands and knees tabletop. Let's set our base position. Think about the core engagement. Think about those upper abdominal, like that transverse abdominal musculature that works its way out to the tops of the obliques, and really try to fire that musculature up. And then take your left leg and extend it straight back and behind you. Try to stay with this upper abdominal activation. And we're going to bring our left knee to our right elbow. So with an exhale, cross that left knee over to the right elbow. Looked like I was going to my left. There we go. And then extend that straight back. And as you extend straight back, see if you can feel that oblique musculature lengthen. And then drop the left knee down to the mat. We'll curl our toes and lift our seat to down dog. Get your weight back into your hips. Breathe and believe into the depth of this shape. Let's come down to hands and knees, tabletop. Once again, and maybe with a little extra cueing on the left side, we're going to try to fire up this upper abdominal musculature. Really think about staying active across that upper band. And then exhale and send your right leg straight back and behind you. And we're going to bring the right knee with an exhale to our left elbow. So a little cross activation there. Staying with that upper abdominal activation. And then extend it straight back. Try to feel the oblique lengthen. Right knee comes down, curl your toes, lift your seat, find down dog. Breathe into the depth of that shape. Let's come down to hands and knees tabletop. We'll flip the tops of the feet and sink back into child's pose. And as you sink back into child's pose, try to feel that upper abdominal band relax. Like all of that musculature that you fired up wrapping around into the obliques deactivates for a moment. And then try to breathe some space into that musculature. We'll give ourselves just 15 more seconds here. Just a brief, little expansive pause in child's pose. When it feels appropriate, let's pull ourselves to hands and knees tabletop. And from hands and knees tabletop, curl your toes, lift your seat, and find down dog. Now take your right leg and extend it straight back and behind you, three-legged dog. And with an exhale, let's bring our right knee over to our left elbow. So a little rotation there. And then extend your right leg straight back into three-legged dog. And we'll step the right foot forward into lunge. Find balance across the hand, finger mounds, and toe mounds so that we have real strength across the front of the shape, and then slide back towards your right hamstring. Now, we've not done a lot of hamstring opening, so you may find that the right hamstring or the hamstring is significantly more restrictive than you might want it to be or expect it to be. Slow down the rate of respiration and shift the energy to the sacrum. And then squeeze the core to try to get length. Then rebend your right knee. Step your right foot back into plank. Lift the seat to down dog. Balance out your weight distribution here. And then send your left leg straight back into three-legged dog. And we'll exhale the left knee to the right elbow. Little rotation. And then exhale back and step the left foot forward into lunge. Once again, it's about landing and developing balance across the front of our shape here. So we have 3 points of contact. We'll slide back into that left hamstring. Energy or awareness to the sacrum, and then squeeze into the core to create the length. This is a shape that we don't generally put core focus on. I think it's a mistake, because I think you can really find some additional depth with the core engagement. And then we'll bend that left knee, step the left foot back into plank, lift the seat into down dog, balance your weight here. And then let's walk our way forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum. And let's roll ourselves up into mountain once again. Just bringing that balance into the shape. When it feels appropriate for you, hands come together at heart center, and we'll slide the left foot straight back into lunge. Ground the left heel and roll your way open into warrior two. Think about core engagement here. And then keeping the core engaged, we're gonna bend the right elbow so we get a 90-degree bend there and bring that right forearm down onto our right thigh. Core engaged, extend the left arm palm down straight out from the torso. Stay with that mid-body engagement. Let the left oblique bring you back up into warrior two. And squeeze and lock down there. Spin the left heel up and we'll come into crescent. And then drop the hands and just step mountain. We slow ourselves down here. when it feels appropriate for you, our right foot is going to slide straight back. Set the strength of the shape, ground the right heel, and roll to 2. Squeeze the core. Think about the foundational strength and alignment of the shape, then bend the left elbow, left forearm to left thigh. Right arm extends palm down straight out from that shoulder socket, like an extension of the torso, same angle as the torso. The core stays engaged here. And then let that right oblique draw you back up into 2. Right heel spins up, back into crescent. Drop the hands and return to the front of the mat. Nice work. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. We'll walk our way back into down dog. Let's come down to hands and knees tabletop. We'll flip the tops of the feet and sink our way back into child's pose. Another opportunity for opening here. And so this man freezes this jar and he writes on top of it, Mom's pocket watch and a little Sharpie. And anytime he missed her, those times when he used to go to the pocket watch, he'd go upstairs to the attic, he'd open, and he'd just look at that jar of tears. And it was this connection that he still had to her. We'll give ourselves just 30 more seconds here. One day, one of the store owner's friends came in, and he was in a similar position to the store owner. He had this heirloom set of dishware, and he was hard up on money. And the store owner could see the pain in his eyes as he was about to sell this prized set of dishware that had been his parents. When it feels right for you, as it feels right for you, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. Set that tabletop position. With an exhale, send your left leg straight back, and then bring your left knee to your left elbow. Little contraction there. The core is active. Exhale, send the left leg back. Next exhale, bring the left knee to the right elbow and send it back. Now, your choice. You can reset to tabletop and then roll back into down dog and get three-legged dog, or you can go straight from here, right toes curl under and lift your way back. But we'll all meet in three-legged dog, and then we'll step that left foot forward into lunge. So weep our way up into a nice, slow, rising crescent. In the crescent shape, smooth into that front quad, and then come up onto the tiptoes of both feet. And then drop the hands down to the mat. Step the left foot back into plank. Drop the knees to tabletop. Find your core awareness. Exhale, right leg goes back. The next time that you exhale, right knee to right elbow. And straight back. And then right knee to left elbow. And straight back. Your choice once again. You can drop the tabletop and find down dog, or you can roll straight back into the three-legged dog. Either way, we'll meet in three-legged dog. And then step our right foot forward into lunge. Sweep our way up into crescent. Think about the stability of your crescent shape, smooth into the right quad, and then come up onto those tiptoes. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step the right foot back into plank. Come down to hands and knees tabletop and sink back into child's pose. Nice work. Land once again in child's pose. And so this store owner, he could see the desperation in this man. And yet he knew both the pain of being in a position where you need to sell something prized and the pain of not having enough money to pay his bills. And so he made an offer. It wasn't the best offer he could make, but it was a decent offer to someone who was desperate. And his friend who was in this desperate situation took the deal. A lot of that was because he trusted his friend to offer him the right deal. When it feels appropriate for you, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. We'll extend our legs straight out in front of us for a little staff. Get the spine nice and vertical here. And then from staff, let's exhale and find our way into a forward fold. So just a nice little release into fold here. Use some of that posterior chain space. Even here, we can use core engagement to more deeply anchor the sacrum and to elongate that lumbar placement. That being said, if the hamstrings are the primary limiter, all the core engagement in the world isn't going to really set you into more depth. So if the hamstrings are limited, bend the knees and use that space to allow the core engagement to anchor the sacrum. And we'll just settle our way in here. A little bit longer hold than maybe we're typical. So settle in here for about 90 seconds. And so this man hands over this dishware set. He leaves the store, and as he leaves the store owner can see that he's about to cry. And that kind of breaks the thing in the store owner. He starts crying. And he reaches down under the desk. He pulls out a jar, and he starts catching the tears again. There's not an eighth of tears this time, but there's tears. He puts a lid on. He pulls out a Sharpie, and he writes, friends, heirloom dish set. And he runs it upstairs and he puts it in the freezer in the attic. And from that day forward, any time that this man cries, he captures it. He writes down what made those tears happen and he freezes them in this freezer in the attic. Running the store is stressful. And there are employee struggles and people that move and people that come into town, and all of that really weighs on this store owner. And so when he goes up to the freezer, it starts getting more and more full. And he always pulls his mother's pocket watch tears to the front. So he sees them first. Last 15 seconds here. When it feels appropriate, let's walk our way back up into staff, and then we'll lower ourselves onto our spine. Letting your body both be received and receive the neutrality of the mat beneath you. Knees can be bent, bottoms of the feet can be together, legs can be extended. But wherever you settle, you want to really be able to feel what you've done thus far. We'll give ourselves just 30 more seconds here just to receive. And when it feels appropriate, let's bring our knees into a bent position so the kneecaps can point towards the ceiling. And we'll start a little lateral sway, a little rocking with the knees here. The next time that the knees fall over to the left, let's let them settle there. Over the next few years and on for the decade plus, the weight of this day to day running the store just kind of weighs on this shop owner. He's done a pretty good job of saving and earning an income for his family. And so he decides he's going to shut down the shop for a couple months. And him and his family are going to go travel. They're going to see the sights. They're going to visit as many places as possible. And so he puts a sign on the door. And he has one of those little stand-up signs that he puts inside. The door sign on the door says closed, and the little stand-up sign says, we'll be back in 3 months as the date of his return. And he leaves the lights on so that the sign will be easily seen underneath this like canister light. Last 30 seconds here. Family packs up their bags and they set off on the adventure of a lifetime. When it feels appropriate, let's bring our knees back to neutral. And we'll let the bottoms of the feet come together and the knees fall out wide. Really opening up this medial line of the hips. And when it feels appropriate, we'll bring our knees back to neutral. And then exhale the knees over to the second side. A little static hold here. And so him and his family really do go on the adventure of a lifetime. They have an incredible time. They go everywhere they've ever wanted to go and more. They see more than they ever thought possible. But eventually, it's time to go home. I get back. He goes into the shop. And when he's unlocking the door, he notices that the lights are out. Thinks that's odd. But he figures, maybe he left them on. Maybe all the bulbs burnt out. He goes in, he unscrews some bulbs and puts some new bulbs back in. The lights don't turn on. So he goes to the breaker box. He switches a few the switches. And sure enough, there's a few that are off. And as he kicks it back on, it immediately trips. And the lights turn back off. And as he's kind of playing with this fuse box, he realizes that he's sweating because it's so hot in this store. Last 30 seconds here on the second side. When it feels right, we'll bring our knees back to neutral. Ask yourself here if there's anything that you might want, if there's anything that you might need, if there's anything that you might benefit from prior to Shavasana. And if there is, let's offer that to ourselves now. And if we have everything that we need, if we're ready for some stillness, if you're ready for your version of Shavasana this evening, let's head into a shape where we can appreciate that. And so as he realizes how hot it is in this store, he remembers the freezer. And he runs up stairs into the attic, and it is a furnace up there. Just drifting into your version of Shavasana. So he rips open the freezer door and he's hit with a blast of heat. And he looks at the jars, the jar labeled as mother's pocket watch right in front. And they're all bone dry. And he pauses for a moment there, which brings some movement to your fingers and your toes, up through your wrists, your ankles. Allow that movement to continue to expand into your elbows and your knees. Go to your shoulders, your hips, your neck, your head, your jaw, your eyes, your tongue. Eventually, the entirety of the body moves. And with that full movement, we'll transition our way back into a seat. Get your spine tall, let the breath smooth out. Feel the fluidity of exchange here. Maybe the eyes close. Seeing all of these jars empty, this feeling of lightness and relief washes over him in a way that he hasn't felt in decades. The next inhale, bring your hands together, heart center. Over the course of the next 7 days, can you remind yourself that regrets only burden those holding on to them, and see how that impacts your experience? Thank you so much for being a part of this evening's practice, for being you. Namaste. Happy Monday, guys. Appreciate the heck out of you being here. I think next weekend is a holiday weekend, but I'm not smart enough to know that. If it is, we'll do the Monday night recharge yin class. And if it's not, it'll be normal. I love the heck out of you. Have a beautiful week. I will be back either Sunday or Monday, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.